been too long. Glad to connect with you again. Let's get started just talking about your background. You have an interesting one, a bit mixed. OB-GYN, functional medicine physician, and exercise scientist. How has that intersection of knowledge and training shaped the way you approach women's health and metabolic health?
Well, I was a collegiate athlete, getting a degree in nutrition and exercise science. Then I went to medical school. You would think I had all the knowledge in the world, how to be healthy.
Yeah.
But doctors are humans. And that transition into medical school, I'm sitting in libraries, I'm studying for tests on Saturdays. My health started to go down. I wasn't lifting weights anymore. So after I had my 3 children and had a huge awakening in my life, I realized all they taught me in medical school was lifestyle, lifestyle, lifestyle. But they didn't give me the tools to do that. So I went back and did an Integrative Medicine fellowship, and it completely transformed how I treat patients.
So
I look at patients very differently than most doctors do.
Yeah, so you'd already been practicing as a physician and knew there's something I don't know here. I need to go back and get a little more training.
Yes.
Yeah, boy, I love that humility.
And as a physician, I think we should walk the walk and talk the talk.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't know how to apply it, and you don't know how to show patients how to do it, I mean, I'm a mom of 3, I'm a full-time physician.
Amen.
I still get it done.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Also, tell us, why do women tend to lose more muscle a little more easily during perimenopause and menopause? And then what are the key strategies in your mind as you teach your patients and anyone willing to listen? What are strategies they can integrate in order to prevent and even reverse some of that strength and muscle mass loss?
Well, first of all, we're not telling little girls and young women how to build lean mass early in their life. So many of these women are coming into the perimenopausal transition already behind the mark.
Yeah.
Because they haven't been focusing on the strength of their bones and the strength of their muscle. And then what happens is we start losing estrogen production from the ovaries. And estrogen is really important for our muscle. So as we lose estrogen, we lose something called satellite cell proliferation. Muscle cells literally start dying. There's more inflammation in the muscle. There's more insulin resistance in the muscle. And then what happens? We don't feel good. We don't want to move. We don't want to exercise.
Right.
We're tired. Right. It's like the last thing we want to do. And so then that starts accelerating the rate of lean tissue loss. So there is a hormonal shift in perimenopause that starts to make that hill really steep. And if you weren't already doing a lot of those things in your 20s and 30s, it feels like an insurmountable task to start, in your 40s.
I love that point. The idea of entering that stage of life with as much muscle mass as you can get. That's such a brilliant idea. Love it.
That's impressive. Jamie, there are some people here probably that are either new to or intimidated by lifting or resistance exercise, those types of things. What would you say would be your blueprint for building muscle mass and strength safely and effectively?
Okay, so everybody knows my motto is eat protein and lift weights. Okay, so one nutritional strategy that you have to implement is more protein, and women are really not good about eating protein. They're eating little small, 10 grams here, 15 grams here.
Maybe a little chicken on the salad.
Yeah, they're not getting a huge bolus of protein, and protein is important for muscle protein synthesis. The reason that you hear people on social media say eat 30 to 50 grams of protein is because that would equate to about 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine. And leucine is an amino acid that's essential. And so eating 30 to 50 is going to give you that amount of leucine. There's other things that are really important too, like creatine. But when it comes to resistance training, the amount of work required to see benefit is actually quite small. I talked about this in my TED Talk. They took a population of women 65 and older. I mean, these are your grandmas. And they did resistance bands. We're not talking like big barbell back squats, but resistance bands. Mm-hmm. And they did it 3 times a week, and they did a certain amount of intensity and volume and frequency and progression. And over an 8-week time span, they got stronger, they had more stability, less likely to fall.
Just resistance bands. So easy.
And you can even do body weight. You can do body weight. If you are just starting, you can literally just do body weight exercises.
Chair
we all have a weight, right? And we can use gravity. So start where you are and then progress over time.
Yeah, brilliant. Yep, love it. Thank you. You actually mentioned maybe 1 or 2 of these already, but let's just really hit the nail on the head here. Let's talk about supplements. Of course, Immunicity is the one hosting all this, some of the most intelligently designed supplements I've ever seen. What is your take on supplements like creatine, leucine, both of which you might have just mentioned, HMB, a little less common, specifically for women, and how in your mind would they fit into a comprehensive muscle building plan?
Supplements are great. I take supplements. But what I tell my patients and my followers, we have to have the base of the pyramid solid first. Dial in your nutrition.
You don't mean base of the pyramid being grains and...
Dial in, no.
You mean the flipped...
No, yes. And so, lifestyle is super important. If you think that just, taking a bunch of supplements and eating donuts and laying on the couch all day is going to make you hard to kill, that's definitely not the case. But creatine is so important. And because women don't eat a lot of protein, they're not eating red meat and good dietary sources of creatine. And then when you cook your steak, you actually deplete the amount of creatine in it. Even if you, stew it or boil it, but searing steaks and things like that, it lowers the creatine, and actually a little bit gets made into creatinine. So to eat the amount of creatine you need that they show in the studies, which is like 3 to 5 grams to support muscle health, and now a lot of literature with brain health,
I know. And
you'd have to be eating
higher.
a pound or 2 of meat. So creatine is one that almost everybody has to supplement. So I'm a huge fan of creatine. Leucine, so amino acid supplementation. Once again, try to eat the whole protein. But if you are older, sedentary, immobile, maybe from an accident, an illness, or something like that, these supplements like leucine and HMB become even more important at stimulating, telling that muscle metabolically that we still need it. So I think supplements are excellent, and you want to use them strategically.
In fact, what I love about that answer, not only do I agree with everything you said, there was a paper just published about a week or 2 ago. It looked at adults, and I think it was ages like 60 to 80. It was a 6-week or so protocol, both weight training, one placebo group. The other group was just getting creatine and HMB, and they had, in various exercises, as much as a 40% increase in strength.
Yes,
with just
huge.
that one single addition. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Which it seems like the only way people look at aging is this steady loss of muscle mass and function. We want to try to flatten that slope as much as we can, and supplements are a great way to do it, combined with smart exercise.
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, Jamie, let's wrap up our time with you with some rapid fire questions.
I love it. Let's do it.
Okay, great. All right, so let's keep talking about women. It's such a popular topic. What's your favorite muscle building exercise specifically for women?
It's going to be unpopular, but the squat in any variety is an excellent exercise. It's a compound movement. So whether it's body weight squats, whether it's a barbell back squat, whether it's a trap or a hex bar dead, or even split squats, Bulgarian squats, whatever. When you do that, you're using major muscle groups like your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes. You're also using your core. You're working on your balance. But as we age, our ability to even stand up out of a chair, the sarcopenia and the weakness is almost always in the quads, glutes, and hamstrings. So if you don't want to be that little old lady that's having to get one of those power lift chairs, or you saw grandma, right? She was always going like this. Some form of squat.
Wonderful. And I like what you said, compound, because a gal may hear this and think, well, if I just need strong quads, I'm just going to sit and do a little leg extension. That's not what you're saying. You're saying that in nature, if we're getting up, sure, we're using our quads, but we're also really using our glutes. We're using our low back.
Yes.
And when you load up a bar, you're also strengthening even your upper back and shoulders. Yeah,
absolutely.
So compound, a big, busy movement. Love that. Okay, next one. One myth. What is one myth about women lifting weights that you wish would just, if you could wave your wand, you'd say, I'm going to get rid of that myth from everyone's brain? What is the myth that needs to disappear?
Women think that if they lift any sort of weight, that they will become big and bulky. And I will tell you.
Yeah, I've heard that so much.
Personally, and taking care of women, that's literally all I do in my practice. It takes years and years of consistent strength training and progression to achieve the physique that most of these people are thinking of in their mind. But even then,
it's almost...
what you see on social media is probably steroids and testosterone.
Yeah. In fact, I've always said...
We think it will make us less feminine.
Right.
And that's the stigma that I'm really, really trying to break, is that women think that being physically strong, somehow we lose our, femininity.
Less ladylike.
Just completely and utterly wrong, and it's bad for women's health.
Yeah, wonderful. I love that. Last question. Jamie, what would you say is the biggest benefit to building muscle that most women don't expect until they got that muscle? What's the biggest benefit they might not expect?
Really, the mental clarity and the confidence that comes with weightlifting. I've yet to meet a woman that can get in the gym and back squat, and she doesn't feel confident in other areas of her life. And as a mom of 3 little girls, it's even amongst young girls, they have better grades in school, they have less mental health issues, they have better social lives. So I think there's so much to be gained. When I go to the gym, I'm not really in there because I want to be the best back squatter in the world. I'm training for life. I'm training to be able to take care of my kids for a really long time and one day meet my grandkids.
Be a big, healthy grandma. Love it. Jamie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful.